Alrighty, and we are live. I don't know how many people are going to join, but hey, it's all right. Always have fun talking with you, man.
How you
So,
doing?
man, I can't complain. I'm gonna tell you what. You got to take and plug your podcast a couple times on here,
Of course.
just so you can take and get some people in. Because I took and tweeted it out earlier. I was like, hey, if
Thank
you
you very
like
much.
some intellect and some somebody that doesn't mind a little bit of irreverent humor, I was like, you'll enjoy this. There's intellect to it and everything. So hopefully you get some you get some people that'll take and watch and listen.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. Like I said, most people know me for the whiskey, and I've just gotten really fucking bored of doing whiskey. Just like I'm guessing, like from what I've been seeing in the beer community, most beer tubers are starting to get bored of doing beer reviews too. It's just after you've done like 200 reviews on fucking alcohol-based products, like you need to move on. And it's funny because I have I guess a semi-successful fucking whiskey channel, but I'm so bored of it that I've kind of alienated everyone that listens to my whiskey tube channel. And they're all like, you don't like us anymore, Swami. And I'm like, it's not that I don't like the community and the whiskey community and all that. It's more along the lines that I'm just bored of it. I'm just detrimentally bored of whiskey. I don't know how much and what more I can say about spirits in general, rum, whiskey, tequila, beer, or anything. Like it's just,
Yeah, well,
it's so repetitive.
Well, I think in the beer, I know the reason why I took and left from stopped doing the beer reviews. It's like you said, after a while, it just becomes monotonous, and
Yeah.
I don't see why. And this is the other thing that I started. I was like, wait a minute, okay. I'm taking and showing people beers that a lot of folks that watch are not going to have access to, so they're not going to take and be able to get their hands on it. Why the fuck are they going to give a shit about it anyways?
No.
It's like if I have a video, and if I had a video that had over 30 views on the local beers because somebody local found it and shared it with some buddies, and we'll take and pick it up, and that's how it works.
Yep.
So, and it's very monotonous, and after a little bit, most IPAs taste the fucking same. It's either really fucking juicy or it's got a fucking bite on the back end with a little bit of dankness to it. IPAs in a fucking nutshell.
Well, to whiskey, there is a extremely varied flavor profile when it comes to whiskey. But at the same time, I've done every single fucking flavor profile. Again, I've been doing it for 5 years, and it's gotten to the point where if I'm going to continue, it's always going to be. By the way, I'm going to just put the link for my new channel in the private chat. And Alan, if you want to share it out, go ahead. It's right there. So it's called TUMOS podcast, which stands for the Uncomfortable Moment of Silence podcast, which stars myself and David, the producer. David, the producer, you might know from Bourbon Soaked with Juliet Miranda. And he also does a very, very popular podcast with Juliet Miranda where they do a lot of celebrity interviews. And for those of you who are wrestling fans, I'm pretty close friends with Bobby Blaze. I've had him, I've interviewed him before in the past, so I'm going to be having him on the channel again very shortly. He'll be on the Uncomfortable Moment of Silence. So anytime any of you wrestling guys want to know what it's like to be kind of a heel in the WWE and the WWC, WCW back in the day, you guys should tune into that show. That's going to be probably happening in about 2 weeks. So that's going to be with Bobby Blaze. Tuesday, I got a really cool show. I'm really excited. It's going to be at 7 o'clock Pacific time, which I think is like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock Eastern. And it's going to be Rhino 39. And Rhino 39 is a South California, LA punk group that's been around for about 20 years. They've gone through 3 lead singers. Very, very close friends with the lead singer, the new lead singer of the group. So he wants to come on and help me out and grow this thing. So him and the entire band will be on this Tuesday night, which will be a lot of fun. And that'll air live on YouTube. And then once we have 5 episodes together, we're going to be streaming that shit on a actual podcast, which is like Amazon and iTunes podcasting. So you can always download those, and hopefully people do. And if I can get the other cool factor about this podcast is that I'll actually be able to get advertisers on there and not feel like I am like in the whiskey industry where I get a lot of people offering to give me bottles and cash and shit like that. I feel like that's kind of a bribe. Whereas this podcast has absolutely nothing to do with liquor or anything. So I don't care about taking money and shit. So it'll be cool. I can maybe make some money off this fucker. So
that'd be cool. I'm gonna be honest with you. You said it might not take and go past 5 episodes. I have a feeling you're going to take and go far past 5 episodes. I think you're going to make it past the 15 episodes.
Well, the first video that you'll see that's up there is just kind of a taste. It's literally the introduction, and it kind of gives you guys what me and David are like and our personalities. And as I was telling Alan before I invited him, eventually David's on. He'll be on and off, but I'm going to be replacing him with other co-hosts every so often. And I told Alan I'd like him maybe once in a while to come on too, as well as Rod J. Ventures. I've already piqued his interest about it, and a few other guys that I've known from doing my YouTube channel over the years. So it'll be a couple of different personalities coming in when people get bored of David, which is likely to happen because he's kind of boring.
I think y'all make a pretty good sounding board opposite of each other, because he's he identifies, I guess, as Republican.
Yeah.
While you're not Republican, you're not Democrat. You're more like me, independent thinker. You take shit from both sides.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I've always said but I don't like saying it because people they love to tell you lean left. I don't think I lean left. I think I lean wherever my fucking mind tells me what's right and what's wrong, and that's where my brain seems to go towards. So
I think it's because
things I think in life that are obvious, that you want to be on the right side of history on, and it doesn't mean it's left or right. It's just you can tell when something's wrong, that you don't want to be a part of that. So
I think it's because everybody's they want people fitting in some kind of box somewhere. Oh, you lean left on that. I'm sure you got other stuff that you take and tell them. They'd be like, "Oh, you lean right on that." So
Well, I'm very, like I said, I'm pro gun, meaning I'm pro owning. I own a gun, and I've never lied about that. And I wish I could own more. It doesn't mean I love them. I don't hug them at night and shit. So a lot of people that think I'm liberal think I'm really weird for the fact that I like guns, and I think that everyone should have the right to own a gun. That's one part of me that's, I guess you can call conservative, but I don't think it's conservative. I just think guns are fucking cool. I don't I'm not going to say anything else. I think they're fucking cool. I like them. I was raised in a family that hunted when I was younger. I went hunting with my father in Canada. There's a lot of hunters. There's the traditional hunting culture in Canada. And I shot my first deer when I was about 7. So, since then, I've always liked guns. My wife, on the other hand, hates guns. She can't stand them. She doesn't like having one in the house because she thinks at the end of the day it's going to be used against her. And I'm like, just don't piss me off, and it'll never happen. If dinner's on time, you have nothing to worry about. Yeah. So, but on other ends, people say I'm a socialist because I'm 100% for Medicare for all. And I don't understand why any country in the world wouldn't have Medicare for all, considering all the taxes you pay, especially in the States and shit like that.
I think people that are against that here just I think it's a combination of two things. Number one, either they've never or they don't make the connection whenever they have a loved one who has worked their entire fucking life. Mm-hmm. And then within the span of 6 months after they take and retire, they spend all of their savings because they wind up having cancer or some other kind of medical condition that winds up taking it eating through that. Mm-hmm. So after they get better, then they're dependent on the government with the
did you hear about this
Social Security and shit like that?
Did you hear about this drug? All right, and it's not available in Canada. It's for is it muscular dystrophy? I don't know what the disease is, but it's a one-shot drug that cures the disease for kids that it's muscular, some sort of weird syndrome where kids are born and they slowly their bones fuse and their muscles fuse and they can no longer move and shit.
Yeah, I know it's
and there's actually a cure for it that a company, I don't know if it's Pfizer, I don't remember which one. If you want to look it up, you go ahead, but I don't feel like typing while I do this. Anyways, and the drug costs $2.1 million.
That's crazy.
2.1 million. It's a one-time shot. It's an injection, and it costs 2.1. But it cures 90% of these cases. I would just think how could a drug cost 2.1 million? Who can afford $2.1 million for a drug? And unless this drug's research costs something like $600 billion to make or manufacture, which I very much doubt it, once it's actually been approved and stuff like that, I don't know. I just find that's kind of sick and twisted. I think it's sick and twisted if the drug costs $300,000, let alone 2.1. So it's just like weird shit like that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's definitely
you talk to the crowd. I'm gonna look this up. I want to get the name of it.
All right, and cheers to the chat. Thank y'all for showing up tonight. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, I know I know the disease you're talking about. I know because you take and hear about kids that have it, and it's like, holy shit, that sounds like that's just a shit hand dealt to you for sure. So I think the problem is we've taken and we've allowed the drug
Novartis. It's Novartis. It's a one-time drug called Zolgensma, and it's for children between the under the age of 2 with spinal muscular atrophy. That's what it's called. And it costs $2.1 million.
Wow, replacing the missing or mutated gene. That is crazy.
Yeah.
The thing is, we've here in this country, especially because you take a look, Trump finally signed the fucking executive orders needed to drop the drug prices, the generic drug prices here, I guess, for people on Medicaid, down to prices that they take and get prescriptions at there in Europe. And people are like, oh, it's all for elections. It's like, fucking regardless of why he fucking did it, the fact that he finally fucking did it is long fucking overdue because we've allowed the pharmaceutical companies over here to basically bend everybody over to the barrels and just have their way with them.
Yeah.
So we've just allowed the pharmaceutical companies basically to take and write the law that's here to take and protect them from losing any money on anything that involves cures or even treatments for that matter.
Well, I would say a good solution to that would be taking drugs off of publicly traded companies. That would be one solution to that. That should be illegal.
That way, there's shareholders at that point.
Yeah. Like if people want to invest, and there are a lot of billionaires that are philanthropic, if they want to invest in a drug, they should be doing that kind of out of the kindness of their heart, not the return of what's going to happen at the end of it. And yeah, I do think that there should be a profit margin, obviously, to medication, but there should be a limit to what the profit margin is on medication, because these are things that like are made for the betterment of mankind, not just to keep the elite alive, while the rest of us die out. Like,
yeah, and that's the thing. It seems like that's what a lot of the pharmaceutical companies are set up to do. They're taking cater to those that have the money that can actually pay for treatments or the drugs that people need, while those that are at the lower ends of the spectrum, they're just fucked. They're SOL. And they have no recourse against it. Is the sad part.
Yeah, and this is a fun thing, not the fun thing, but this is one thing that I never understood. This affects both Republicans and Democrats and liberals and conservatives alike, but it still seems to be a political hotbed issue between the sides. And I know there's just as many poor white trash Republicans as there are poor fucking white trash liberals. So to me, I just don't get how that wouldn't be one of the issues that would bring everyone together.
Well, the problem is our senators and representatives in Congress up there in Washington are all bought and paid for by big pharma, fucking big banks, and whatever other industry, big tobacco, and whatever other industry you can think of. They're in their fucking pockets. So they go, oh no, you can't do that. We'll lose this kind of money, and we won't be able to take and donate this kind of money to your campaign, and give you a little bit extra on the side. And they're like, oh fuck that, I'm not going to take and do that. That's one of the main problems. I think I've said for a long time here in America, I think our politicians in Congress, they need to take and have patches on their fucking suits they wear every day to, debate over bills or what the fuck ever. That take and show who the fuck sponsors their asses. Basically,
there's a comment that I want to read out here. It's Mary Lozen that says Butch's drugs in Canada cost $300, and in the U.S. they cost $24. Depends, Mary. In Canada, you are allowed. By the way, I know Americans don't seem to get this, but you can have private insurance in Canada. You're allowed supplemental insurance. It's not against the law. And a lot of people actually get their insurance from work. It just, for the people that don't get insurance from work, there is a public option in Canada. All right. So you could almost call it what they want in the States, a public option. But the thing in Canada is it's a universal public option, which means that everyone pays into it. Even if you're not on it, you still pay into it. But it's not something that's going to kill you. And this is what people don't seem to understand. Do you know how much it costs for your taxes? And if Eric Gilbert's in there, he'll let you guys know what we pay in taxes for our Medicare, each Canadian every year. It's literally a joke. It's $1,000, even a little less. It's like $994 a year annually, what we pay for our universal healthcare system. So you're not getting raped or ripped off or whatever or what the fuck. If you can't afford $980, you're probably living on the streets. So that's pretty much
$980 a year for health. Yeah, see here, shit, I was paying $120 a fucking week for family insurance. Actually, let's see, $240 every 2 weeks. I was spending almost $500 a month for insurance. So for a year, I was spending like almost $10,000 basically. It's, you know, it shouldn't be like that. It really shouldn't.
All I know is when I used to work for my old company, Manulife, I had my universal health care plus my supplemental insurance back in the day. And my drugs cost $0. I paid no premium, nothing with my work insurance. So I don't know. It depends. It depends on what coverage you got. You're allowed to get supplemental coverage for insurance. $24, awesome if it's $24 in the States. To me, it's not a competition between the States and Canada. I think all drugs should be affordable everywhere. We also have 10 times more people than in Canada, though. Again, to me, that doesn't really make a difference because there's many, many countries around the world that have universal health care that have close to the same population as you guys have in the States.
Well, see, and the thing with that is we might have 10 times the amount of, we've got 4 times the amount of people they've got in Germany. We've got like 6 or 7 times the amount of people they've got in Sweden and Belgium and places like that, where they have where you can buy private insurance like they do in Canada, but they also have universal health care over there.
Yeah.
The thing about it is here is we take and spend 3 times as much on our fucking national defense every fucking year.
But you also spend more than we spend on healthcare in the States, and you don't even have anything to show for it.
Because we don't have anybody negotiating for the fucking citizens here is what the fuck it is. They just, charged. And that's the other thing. That's the other thing I didn't care about Obamacare. It was a great idea in principle, but once you look further into how they were going to put it to practice and all the added fees that hospitals were going to be charging people, hell no, absolutely not. Because it was stuff that hospitals were adding that insurance companies weren't going to cover. Not only that, the insurance premiums, if you were offered insurance through your fucking company, a lot of times the premiums fucking doubled and tripled.
Yep.
I worked for a company where for a family,
and what people don't understand also, Alan, really, really good point about insurance that comes from your company. You can lose your job anytime, at any point in life. And that's what people don't, a lot of people are like, well, my insurance is awesome through my company. You can lose your job tomorrow. All right. You can literally lose your job tomorrow. But if you have a universal healthcare plan,
you're still covered.
That if you fucking lose your job tomorrow. So yeah, you might have a better insurance plan at work, but you can lose your job. And don't think you can't. You can fucking lose your job. Anyone is expendable. There's no such thing as not being expendable. All right. Anyone can lose their job at any point in time, anywhere. I don't care if you're unionized, whatever. You can lose your fucking job any minute, any day.
Bourbon, if we pay taxes for ambulances, why the fuck does it cost $3,000 for a fucking ambulance ride?
It costs $100 here. Well, it depends. It depends on your area. I had to take the ambulance. I actually have a bill. I could bring it here and show you guys. I had to take an ambulance. Alan knows I hurt my hip 2 weeks ago, really bad. And I had to go to the hospital. And the ambulance actually isn't covered fully, but it's partially covered. So it costs $100 for me when I went to the hospital a week ago. So I didn't go into debt because of it. So,
well. Paul, the thing about Obamacare is for those at the lower ends who didn't have access to any kind of health care beforehand because they made so the Medicaid stuff didn't take and cover them. They could take and get health care through the exchanges. On the flip side of that, though, whatever subsidy they got from the government after the first 2 years through Obamacare, they had to pay that. They had to take and pay back basically through whatever taxes they would normally take and get back from the government, or the refund that you take and get from the government. Most of that went after the first 2 years. Most of that took and went towards paying the subsidy that you were given by the government. So Obamacare was better than nothing, but it really didn't. It wasn't universal health care. It wasn't, and there's a lot of restrictions on what you could get because of the levels of plans. You had to take and go for like a gold level to take and get something where you had decent coverage, more than just, fucking. Oh, at the gold level, it was like a $3,500 deductible, whereas at the
and a lot of people like to forget that. I know they like to call it Obamacare, but they should call it Romney Care because
exactly, because that's the model they used.
Yeah. So I know everyone calls it Obamacare, but it's actually Romney Care. It's a Republican that actually came up with that plan in Massachusetts. So it wasn't. It was never a Democratic plan. That plan is so capitalistic, and it's got Republican written all over it. That just because it came from Obama, though, and again, I'm not a fan of Obama, so I don't want anybody to think I like Obama, because I wasn't a fan of Obama. But it just made me laugh that just because it came from Obama, everyone was saying it's some sort of socialist plan. And I was like, dude, that is the most capitalist plan on earth. It's forcing people to choose from private traded companies to fucking get their insurance plans from. Fuck.
Well, so, see, and the other thing is, whereas, look, if you take and prefer socialism, don't take and look at Belgium, and don't take and look at Sweden. They're not socialists. Scandinavia, none of those countries are socialist. They have big social programs, but they got the companies to buy into the universal health care thing. So they take and pay in. The citizens take and pay a little bit, or I say a little bit. They take and pay, I think, between their income taxes, and then once you take it, they take and pay the value added taxes on shit. So the consumption tax, basically, they're 50% of their paychecks are going if they've got to take and work and stuff like that.
Okay, I semi agree with you, but I disagree with you on your definition of what socialism is, because
well, they're not.
They're social safety nets in their country. Everyone pays into a commonality. In Norway, you have paid housing. To me, it's socialism, but there's nothing wrong with it. If you're what people conflate the differences are, you're talking about a communist dictatorship like China, or a shithole banana republic style country like Venezuela, and yep. People say that's social. That's not socialism. That's dictatorship under a rule. All right, that is not socialism. Socialism is what you have in the States, and I've said this a million times. The police are a socialist institution. Your military is socialism. Your post office is socialism. Your government employees are socialism. That is socialism. That is paid for by the people en masse to bring some sort of representation back to the people. It's to offer goods back to the people, paid for by the people. Your roads, technically, your highways and byways used to be. Now a lot more. There's a lot of private companies that are building roads in the States, and that's why I hate driving in the States. As much as I love your roads, I can't stand paying tolls. I think it's fucking annoying as hell. Every time I get on a highway, I got to pay $5. Pisses me off. But that's your shit. That's not, you guys are cool.
See, and that's the thing. You brought up a good thing, because you're right. I find it funny, people going, "Oh, I hate socialism," and then they want to take and look at all these things that they pay for in taxes. That's what you're paying for, is not stuff that the state that the government should be providing. That's stuff that should be, I need this done. Well, you're going to take it here. The army,
all military is the biggest socialist experiment of all time. All right, every single person in the army is a socialist. He gets paid for by U.S. tax dollars. Even if they want to pretend that they're not, you're socialist. You're taking people's money. You're paid for by the people. You are a socialist army. Every single one of you who've been in the army are a socialist.
Well, that being the case, just about every every form of military throughout history.
Yeah.
Except for even back in Roman times, if you were in the Roman military, you still got paid wages.
Yeah. No,
even if you were conscripted to me, but I think more of like Social Security and fucking Medicaid and most of the public services that your local government even takes.
I just want to say this to all the soldiers out there. If you're anti-socialism, don't accept your paycheck. Rip it up and don't accept it, because it's not from a private company. It's coming from the people. You're taking socialist dollars.
Wealth inequality is a proven result of the Great American Experiment. I hate to tell you this, but everywhere, I don't care what country you're in, there's wealth inequality.
Agreed.
If you're in China, the party holds all the wealth. You as a person, the only reason why anybody's accumulated any kind of wealth over in China is because they instituted controlled capitalism over there. They've got regulated capitalism over there, even more tightly than what we have over here. That's the only reason why they now have billionaires over in China. But they're also high-ranking communist officials.
Again, though, that's not socialism. What's going on in China?
No, that's not at all.
It's not as bad as like North Korea, but again, it's still a dictatorship. And you can even look at Russia these days for the past 30 years, and they're getting closer and closer to being the USSR once again. Which is, these are dictatorships. When your leader just says, "Listen, let's just forego elections. I'm staying around for another 30 fucking years." Because
I think the idea that wealth inequality is an American fucking trait is just absolute. You don't know history, and you don't know social economics.
Yeah, it's called crony capitalism. It's been around for fucking ever, and it's in Canada, it's in the U.S., it's in Mexico, it's everywhere. Anywhere where there are rich people. Me and David, if you watched the podcast this week, you said you did. We were talking about that. We were discussing the fact that David likes to call it "fuck you money." I like to call it "you become your own economy," and because you become your own economy, you dehumanize anyone underneath you, and you're no longer really a part of the human race. You become something godlike. You cannot fail. If you fail, everything around crumbles. But and we were talking about Jeff Bezos when it comes to Amazon, and I was stating to him that if American business actually followed the law, monopolies like Amazon couldn't exist. No one could make.
They bought up so many
No one could make $13 billion a year. It would be impossible unless you monopolize different companies. And there's a law on the books that's like an anti-monopoly law that's been there for like 60 years. Yet it's like companies today it doesn't matter. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah,
and even if they don't become a monopoly, they work together and coincide and price fix everything so that you can't fuck anyways. Like, so there's no actual competition, because all the companies that are left over say, listen, let's just price everything equally so that we can't get any new people that come in. And if any new people come in and look like they're about to be a threat, we'll just buy them out immediately.
And and I actually agree with you on that, because the thing about it, you even take a look at companies like Microsoft. Microsoft has bought up so many smaller software companies that there's a reason why the only other OS that you've really got access to is you have to take and buy a fucking Apple computer, which comes with a Mac OS, or you have to take and buy a computer, or build a computer, or take and just wipe fucking Windows and install fucking Ubuntu or something like that from Linux. But it's just open source. And it's because Microsoft has went through, and anybody else who had software that might have threatened their foothold and their stranglehold on the market for computer OS software, they basically bought them out. Yeah. And that's the reason why places like Microsoft, even like fucking Walmart, goddamn Amazon, they buy up all these smaller fucking places that do similar things. And to your point,
sometimes they don't even buy them out. Sometimes they just plain out steal ideas, and they know that they have the money and the lawyers to back it up. So your small ass, if you created something, can't fucking do shit about it, because they've trademarked your own idea and say, well, what the fuck are you going to do? You want to take it to court? It's cool. We're worth $30 billion. You're worth 10,000. We'll fuck you over. We'll drag this out in court for 6 months and you'll be broke. And then you can just go away. Fuck. And it's been done a billion times. Fuck. So to me, that's why one of the reasons why I think trademarking should actually be illegal, because I don't, or there should be a finite amount of time someone can trademark something. I don't think something should be able to be trademarked for more than like 5 years. Enough time for you to get your profit margins in, and that's it. But
see, I see that Stephen Tunis, the goal of the socialists is communism, and then Bourbon talking about socialism, the shared cost of common needs and desires. Here's my, I don't think what.
Again, I don't call myself a socialist. I say I'm for social programs and safety nets in society because we pay taxes and we deserve them. A lot of people get mad. Like right now, you guys are getting $600. And some people, some stupid ass congressmen are like, they're out there going, oh, there's people out there that are making more money right now than they would if they were fucking working.
Well, that means we have a problem with the fucking
their
system.
Money. You're getting your
exactly.
money. You're getting your fucking money back. Stop feeling bad. It belongs to you. Why would you be pissed off if the government's finally actually giving you your money back? Shut the fuck up, you whiny bitches. Like, seriously, it fucking annoys the crap out of me.
I completely agree with that. And that's the thing. That's the thing, even with like people that now, if people that are taking to live on welfare and they have from the start, I don't agree with that. But people that are taking wind up working and they lose their job and then have to take and use it's like they paid into that. So if they use it until they get back on their feet, why are you bitching?
Yeah. To me, it depends, though. There are situations where I understand it. Like, let's say someone's in a fucking wheelchair or has a debilitating.
Well, see, now that's a different story. I mean,
like then that person should not have to live on the fucking streets and shit like that. Government, we're all human. We're all humans. We should love and care for each other in a certain degree. Where if you know someone really can't fucking work and can't get out there.
Well, no, I'm not talking about cases like that. There's a difference between cases like that.
There should be government assistance for that shit, and they should never have to suffer or live on the streets. You know, I'm not saying that we should be putting them up in fucking Shangri-La in a mansion, but but we should living in a 2.5 apartment and able to fucking eat. I'm not going to be mad.
Yeah, exactly. No, I completely agree with that. Now, I'm not talking about cases. I'm not talking about stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I know people that took and grew up on welfare, and they decided because they knew how to take and work the system. That's their fucking gig. And like they'll take and sell their food stamps. It's just like
I agree with you, Alan, but at the same time, I think that's
it's not a big majority. I know what you're saying.
A minute number. People try to make it sound like there's millions of these fucking welchers out there that are just taking advantage of our system and stealing all my motherfucking money. That's not true. It's a very, very minute portion of the population. All right. And you can't blame everybody else that's on social assistance for a small percentage that's on it, that take advantage.
I don't. I know what you're saying. I mean, but I know people that do, and I don't think they should be able to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But there's no fail safes to make sure that doesn't happen. If it were a bigger number, I'd be more pissed off.
There are fail safes. That's why there's not that many people that can do it. So
that's true.
Yeah. If there weren't fail safes, then everyone would fucking do it. So, but because there are fail safes, not everyone does it. You're reading the comments?
Yeah, I'm going through the comments. Now, I was going to say, as far as socialism is concerned, everybody that wants like social, I'm socialist. We don't really have an example where socialism in practice, like pure out socialism, as it's been as a form of government. Pure out socialism has never really worked.
I don't think it's ever actually happened though. But at the same time, I like to say that I don't think that there's ever been a actual pure capitalist system that's ever
hell no, because we don't have a pure capitalist system. Yeah. Most people don't understand it. It's regulated capitalism here. Corporate capitalism.
No, it's corporatism is regulated. What deregulated capitalism would be anarchy. Full-fledged deregulated capitalism would be pure anarchy. It would be fucking like, you ever watch Mad Max? That's what it would be in like 10 years. All right. There would be some big shot that has all the fucking money who would be paying people to protect his ass. And he would just make the laws like kings did back.
If it weren't for the government, we'd have fucking Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates doing that shit right now.
Well, he's already pretty much that. He could do whatever he wants.
I say that, but they both they both influence laws that are fucking written. Yeah. And the thing about it is, places like Amazon, great fucking idea for how we started selling books and shit like that, and then build it into what he's built into. But on the flip side of that, whenever you take, like you were referring to, like New York, because you're right, they fucked over asking for all, basically his fucking helicopter pad.
Oh, you're talking about my podcast, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, these big companies, whenever they take, I don't give a shit if it's Google or it's Amazon or who the fuck it is, you go to a fucking place and you're gonna take and build a fucking distribution center or a headquarters somewhere. Well, then you buy the property, you build the motherfucker, you take and pay shit, you pay your fucking taxes. You don't take and look for these government subsidies because you can take the fucking hit on it. It's as simple as that. And because number one, yeah, they'll take in, as far as the local economy, yeah, they'll take and make money back because you're taking and giving people jobs and things like that. But on average, it takes 150 fucking years for these local governments and the state governments to take and get the money fucking back. They're taking giving subsidies for these companies to take and go these places.
When one man in one day makes $13 billion in one day, all right, you got to think about this: $13 billion. That I bet you, if you look it up, that's the GDP of about like 30% of the countries in the world's yearly GDP. All right, $13 billion in one fucking day. I'm not talking about the year. One fucking day. Put that in here. $13 billion in 24 fucking hours. Yet his employees can't afford to buy groceries. There's a fucking problem, all right? If you're making $13 billion in one day, awesome. But your employees should be making fucking $20,000 a day if you're making $13 billion a day.
Yeah,
what I hear from all these capitalists, it trickle down. So trickle down to me means you're making $13 billion. Your CEOs are making $1 billion a year. Your middle management are making $1 million a year. Your employees are making hundreds of thousands a year, which is not the fucking case. What happens in Amazon is he makes $13 billion, doesn't pay any taxes. His fucking CEOs make probably $1 million, and then everybody else is fucking scrambling. All right. Mm-hmm. So fuck you and your bullshit. I don't want to hear it from anybody in this fucking audience that says something about trickle down economics, because that's not trickling. That's fucking literally turn the fucking tap off, and he's like pissing on you.
Yeah, I was going to say, the thing about it is, and the other thing is with trickle down might have been a thing in the 60s and the 70s and the 50s. And after the minimum wage was fucking come about, the minimum wage was make sure that somebody working a job could take and fucking live off of what they were taking and making. Back in 1921, or I believe it was 1921, the minimum, they said a federal minimum wage of 25 cents an hour. Yeah. There had been no minimum wage before that.
I would say actually a good example of a good company that I could put out there that's in a capitalistic society. There's like two of them that I could say that actually show actual trickle down economics. And that would be Costco and Starbucks. And those are the only two companies that I would say that actually pay their employees a livable fucking wage. And they do a shit heel work that doesn't require any education. But because these companies make so much fucking money, their employees are making good money. You talk to a Costco employee that works at a fucking Canadian Costco, I don't know how it is in the States, they make $36 an hour fucking working at the cash register. Beautiful. Why? Because Costco's making fucking big bank. Mm-hmm. All right? So that, to me, that's trickle down. What Jeff Bezos does, paying his fucking employees $11 an hour when he's making $13 billion, is inexcusable.
Well, that's the U.S. in general at the moment. That's the problem. Like, the minimum wage was meant to be a livable fucking wage. You can take and have a minimum wage back in the 60s and support a fucking family of three on the minimum wage. Now, if you work minimum wage, you're lucky if you're not living in a fucking cardboard box somewhere, and it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, Paul Fun makes a good comment here. A lot of people don't realize people today, the ultra wealthy, I think it's like a 30% tax that they're paying under Donald Trump, if I can recall, something like that. Under Reagan, they were paying 90% wealth tax.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and everyone loves Reagan. So I don't get, like, Reagan was taxing the rich. So
Reagan cut the taxes on the rich, but it wasn't like the income tax rate. It was like the capital gains tax and things like that, where they make their fucking money.
Yeah, but they were still being taxed 90%.
Yep.
So even he understood you got to tax these motherfuckers. And this is your hero to all the Republicans there, fuck out there that like love spouting Reagan. I'm like, he was taxing fucking rich people 90%. In today's eyes, he'd be a socialist, according to what I hear all the time. But you know, it's always funny talking about socialism and capitalism. By the way, again, I don't consider myself a socialist. I think that we pay enough taxes in society that we should have social safety nets. And to me, Medicare for all is a no-brainer. Everyone should have it in every country.
Well, if the government's goal is to take care of the citizens, that it's over, well, then you should. We all pay fucking taxes. Not only we pay fucking income taxes, we pay taxes on every fucking thing.
Yep.
You're right. There should be social safety nets. If I lose my job, or if my wife loses her job, or if Joe Blow down the road loses his job, there's no reason why, if for whatever reason, whether it's health fucking related or whether it's just they fucking laid people off, there's no reason if he can't take and find a job in 2 months that he should be out on the fucking street because he got kicked out because he can't pay shit.
Especially like when we're in our situation right now with the fucking pandemic, which has no fault of our own. This is all our government's fault for not shutting the borders down in February. If they would have shut the borders down in February, we'd all be New Zealand today. All of us. We'd all be fucking New Zealand, Japan, and South Korea. Every single last one of us would be fucking working. We wouldn't have any tourists. So what? A year without tourists. We could deal with it. I don't mind it. I don't mind fucking foreign Americans not coming into Quebec for a year. I can have not be here for a summer. Oh well, Holiday Inn will suffer for a year. Oh, boo-hoo. No one's going to go to Canada's Wonderland. No one's going to Disney. I don't give a fuck. And the only people that go to Disney are Americans anyway. So Disney's fine.
Bourbon, I think you're right on that. And that's, you're taking a look at places like we said earlier, like Sweden, Norway, and places like that. They strike a great balance between capitalism and social, and the large social programs that they've got over there for the citizens. Because you're taking a look, most of those countries are rated at the highest fucking scale on fucking happiness and fucking the way of fucking living. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's working. And people are like, oh, we couldn't take and put that here because we've got 300. Yeah, we could. We just stopped spending so goddamn much money on fucking defense. Close down over half the fucking bases we've got.
Yeah, you don't even have to stop. You don't even have to stop building up airplanes you're never gonna fucking use. All you got to do is shut down about 300 bases around the fucking world, and you'll save probably like $25 to $50 billion right there, and shutting down just those fucking bases in operation. Why do you need a base in Germany? Germans aren't going to be attacking anytime soon. They're done. All right,
they're not going to get attacked anytime soon either.
You don't even need it in Japan. I understand because of North Korea, but you have one in South Korea, so you don't need Japan. So Japan could be like off the table. Sweden, I don't understand the point in having Sweden, especially since Trump is so buddy-buddy with Putin. You don't need fucking Sweden anymore because the whole point of Sweden is for NORAD, and you don't need them. All right? You don't need one in Canada, which you have, because Canada pretty much, we're the same fucking army. Like, we share the same space and shit. The Canadian army can do their own shit. There's one fucking in the Yukon, which I don't understand, but whatever.
Bro, I hate to tell you this. Fucking Republicans and Democrats are the same goddamn party. It's just they've got different names, and they can call their bills different things with the same shit. I'm not a
Democrat. I don't give a fuck about the Democrats. I don't even like Justin Trudeau. A lot of people are like, oh, you like... This is how they try to insult me. When I say I don't like Trump, they'll be like, well, Justin Trudeau is a fucking douche. I'm like, yeah, I didn't vote for him. I fucking hate Trudeau. So I agree 100%. Fuck Trudeau. Bumbling motherfucker. Just because he's good looking. It's the only reason he got elected. Is fucking women cream their pants when they see him. Fuck. Whatever. Such a tool. I can't stand the guy. Fuck. I voted for Thomas Mulcair. He looked like a Bond villain. He had a beard. He looked pretty evil, but he was fucking intelligent. He had no personality whatsoever. He was a bland motherfucker, but he was smart as a fucking whip. And that's what I look for in a politician. I don't care if you're entertaining. I don't care if you're good looking. I don't care if you're fucking, I could have a beer with you. I'm never going to have a beer with you. I don't care if you look like a guy I'm going to have a fucking beer with. I just want you to run my fucking country correctly. That's the one thing I always fucking laugh about. People, I want my politician to be relatable. No, I want my politician to be the best fucking brain whiz motherfucker on earth that knows everything. I don't want to be able to relate to my politician, because if I could relate to my politician, that means I could run the fucking country, because I can't. I'm not fucking intelligent. I know shit, and I can't run a fucking country. All right. So I don't want my politician to be relatable to me. I want my politician to be the elite amongst the elite, the creme de la creme when it comes to my leader. I don't care if I don't relate to you. Just run the shit.
Paul, I'm not a fan of Trump at all. Like, dude, but I'm going to tell you something right now. If you think that one is evil and the other sane, you need to get your head out of the Democrats' asses. It's as simple as that. Because you take a look at all these places where all this fucking rioting has happened. They're not Republican fucking towns. You take a look at shit that's going on, and it's just as much fucking Democrat as it is Republican. Now, if you can't take a look at that from a fucking just perspective of like looking at shit historically, looking at shit at what's going on in front of you, how the fucking leaders take and run their fucking places, where places like Minneapolis is fucking segregated. Places like fucking Portland, they've always been fucking left. You take a look at other places. You take a look at shit from a historical and a fucking right now perspective. Get your head out of either party's ass and think for yourself. Republicans aren't fucking dumb. Democrats aren't fucking dumb.
This is one argument I got, and I'm gonna try to say this very rationally and calmly, because I know I'm yelling a lot and I'm swearing a lot, but that's because I'm with Alan, and Alan likes to swear, so I like to swear, and we get into a big fuckity fuck fest. So I'm going to try to say this very rationally. What's going on right now in Portland or in Seattle and wherever? Okay, I don't like it. I'm not going to, like, I've Alan's heard me say it. I think, destruction of property, shit like that, whatever. But what I don't understand is why Republicans are so against it, because all I've ever heard my entire life is you guys are small government people. You don't want government in. You think government's wrong. Government, stay out of my shit. Don't tread on me with the fucking snake and shit like that. And we have our guns to protect ourselves. We don't need you here to protect us. So Seattle and Portland are pretty much doing exactly what a lot of libertarians dream of, their big wet dream. They always like, oh, we'll stand up to the government, the man. We're going to get our guns and we're going to go out there and we're going to be like, get the fuck off our land, motherfucker. And that's what they're doing. Yet you guys are all the ones that are saying it's cool that Trump is sending fucking military over there to quash that shit. So they're using fucking a force that's made to fight domestic fucking threats in your own country, but you're cool with it, which to me makes it sound like you guys are just talking out of two sides of your fucking mouth, and you just think it's cool. Again, Alan, I said this a million times. It's a monolith. It's two fucking sides that just hate each other, and even if they're doing the shit that the other side actually wishes they could do, they still think it's wrong because it's the other side that's fucking doing it. So that's where I fucking hate Republicans and Democrats and liberals and fucking conservatives, because you're all full of shit. You're all a bunch of crybabies. You're all snowflakes I was
going to say Obama.
I'm the only non-snowflake in the world.
I was going to say Obama took and told the fucking governors and made them take and send fucking National Guard into fucking Ferguson.
Yeah.
So, no, last 20 years, they've both lost their fucking minds. If you can't fucking see that, then get your head out of their fucking asses. That's all I'm going to say, because you have to see it for yourself. Both sides are so fucking hypocritical.
Yep, they're all hypocrites. They're all conservatives and Democrats and liberals and conservatives and Republicans and libertarians. You're all snowflakes when it comes to your shit. Every single last one of you is a piss poor crybaby snowflake. All of you. Alan is why I get along with Alan, and why I get along with Dave, the producer, and why I get along with like a very few amount of people is because I only get along with people that are really not fucking snowflakes, that are not babies, that see both sides of issues, don't cry when shit doesn't go their fucking way. And that's how I feel. And everyone's like, oh, you're a fucking socialist communist. No, I'm not, because I'm not. I don't cry. Alan's known me for a while. Would you say that I'm a socialist fucking communist, Alan?
No.
No, exactly.
You're like me. You're in favor of larger social programs that would take and help the citizens are paying the fucking taxes, like it should fucking be. If you're gonna take in, the minute you said, all right, here, Social Security, so once you're 70, you take and get more money. The minute you fucking did that, all right, put in more fucking more fail safes for the social safety nets, so that way people that are paying in taxes, even if they're not 70 years old, if they're fucking 20 years old, 30 years old, and they lose their fucking job, they don't have to take and go. They don't have to get kicked out of their fucking house because they can't take and pay rent all the fucking sudden. We need a fucking UBI is what we fucking need, to be honest. With all this fucking shell fracking and stuff.
We were like talking about that right now. Everyone's like, again, complaining about the social safety net. You paid for this shit, man. Stop fucking getting angry about the government giving you back your money. You've been paying this your whole life. In Canada, we were getting $1,000 a week every 2 weeks for 4 months, total 4 months. I couldn't stand hearing fuckers complain. Oh, this is free money. No, this is your fucking money, man. They're giving you back your money. Shut the fuck up.
I paid money into unemployment. I'm not gonna lie, the COVID-19 thing.
Yeah.
Over a year ago now, last February, I had an inner ear infection, make it where I couldn't fucking walk because I had an infection that took an attack the inner ear, the nerve of the inner ear. So I had no fucking balance. I couldn't drive, couldn't walk, couldn't do shit. My wife went to fucking work. Well, she figured, and it was her first day because I'd been the breadwinner at that point. She went back to work for the first time in like 4 or 5 years, and she loved it. She's like, if you want, you can stay home with the kids. Fuck it, I stayed home with the kids after I took and got better because here, fucking child care it'd be one of our fucking paychecks a week. So why? And that's the other thing. That's another reason why we need stuff like bigger social programs, because there's no fucking reason in places like where I'm at, fucking podunk goddamn South Carolina, where if both parents are fucking working, one paycheck is going to go strictly towards the fucking child care. There's no fucking reason for that shit. That's fucking ignorance. That's a fucking failure on the government's part to make sure shit is fucking economical around there, so businesses don't have to take a charge as much to fucking stay in business. That's just the way that fucking works. And there should be fucking, oh, we'll take and give you this, take and supplement, because we don't need you paying a whole fucking paycheck every week to fucking childcare, because then that incentivizes the fucking parents from going to work.
Well, it's always been proven. Like they're saying, okay, so the $600 that you guys are getting in the States, that's what I heard. It's $600. Is it a week or every 2 weeks? I don't know what it was. That stopped in September.
Every week.
Every week. Okay, so you're getting $600, so it's $1,200 a month. And they showed that the economy was doing better because the money that goes into your pockets that the government gave to you goes right back into the fucking economy. So stop saying like, oh, it's a drag on the system. No, it's actually helping the system because people are spending the fucking money that they're getting back into the system. That's how it works. All right. If people don't have money to spend, the system is broken because no money is going back into the system. So you need that fucking circle of life, like they say in The Lion King, where people have money to spend, to buy product, to keep the fucking cogs working, to keep the fucking money rolling to the government, and to then rain back down on the fucking people again. So this shit where it's like, well, they're staying at home. Yeah, they're still spending money though. The money is still going to the fucking system.
I was going to say, I took and worked for like 12 years and never took. I never took and got fucking unemployment whenever I take and lose a job. I just take and go find another one. Never use fucking unemployment. So this money is what the fuck I paid in anyways.
But you know who the biggest complainers about this shit is? Industry. That's the biggest complainers because they don't want to have to hike up their fucking salaries to get people to risk their lives to go back to work during a fucking pandemic. And then they're saying, well, people rather just stay home and spend the $600 and they don't feel like they need to go back to fucking work. It's not that it's fucking up you or me or the economy. It's fucking up industry because industry now has to fucking raise their fucking salaries in order to entice you to get back to work where you were a fucking slave working for fucking $3 an hour. And you don't want to go die for $3 a fucking hour.
Exactly, and Bourbon's right. We need to start uniting as Americans. Stop acting like this is Ohio State versus Alabama, and that's exactly right. It doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, fucking Libertarian, what the fuck it is. We're Americans at the baseline of everything. So we see that the fucking Democrats are being stupid. We see the Republicans are being stupid. Well, I'll be honest with you. We were given the Second Amendment for a fucking reason. Fuck with my. Maybe it's time to take and do like fucking Jefferson said. Take and do a fucking government turnover.
Portland and Seattle are doing it, and everyone's mad at them. They took over their cities. They're like, fuck it, get out. And I literally thought all these libertarians and all these militia guys would be like, yeah, go Portland, go Seattle. But no, because it's not their friends that are doing it. It's the hippies and the fucking tweakers and those guys are doing it.
No, so it's a Northwest Libertarian. It's Northwest Youth Liberation Movement, Antifa, that are doing it.
Yeah, and so they
it's not hippies and shit like that. These motherfuckers
I know Antifa. I know Antifa, and I'm sorry, Antifa's not Antifa from the 90s or 80s where they're big tough guys that are fucking muscle
motherfuckers in skinny jeans and shit like that.
No, it's a bunch of college student white kids that have eat granola and play hacky sack.
But that's the reason why you see videos on Twitter and different. Taking a look around the fucking internet, watching video. That's the reason why they mask on and they're all skinny as fuck. Look like they just
it's not
Ethiopians or something like that.
Europe. Or Antifa Europe was a real movement, and those guys were tough motherfuckers. They were like, they'd crack heads and take names.
They actually oppose fascism. They're not wanting Marxism or fascism, and that's what these motherfuckers are fucking wanting.
No, I got nothing against Antifa. The only issue I have with Antifa is because I think they're kind of pussyish. I just think that they're weak. They get pushed around real easily. It's sad. You type in Antifa on YouTube, and it's like literally a bunch of videos of a bunch of kids getting their ass kicked, and it's like, stop talking like they're a terrorist organization. They're a bunch of college students. Fuck. They're just a bunch of rich white kids.
If there's nobody there to push back, Northwest Youth Liberation Movement and Antifa caused over $10 million in damages. They've injured over 20 fucking public workers and fucking regular citizens. So no, they're not a terrorist organization. But if nobody's there to take and actually stop their fucking antics, and they're a fucking menace.
All right. Okay. If they're a terrorist organization, then why isn't the KKK a terrorist organization? Shouldn't they be?
They should be. Okay, I thought they were labeled as a fucking terrorist organization.
No, they're not, though. They're not. So why is Antifa labeled a terrorist organization, but the KKK is not?
Because they've
killed way more people than Antifa ever has.
Oh no, you're right about that.
All right.
The reason why Antifa has been labeled as a terrorist organization is because they're stupid. Like you said. You take and see videos of the kids get their asses beat.
Juggalos who are the biggest joke in the history of fucking
the terrorist organization.
They drink Fago. They drink Fago and put clown makeup on and like to say shit like to do silly raps, and they're a terrorist organization. Not a terrorist organization. They're a gang.
They're a gang. Yeah. I was like, I've seen that. Like, what
the fuck? Redneck meth heads are a gang. Yeah, got it. All right. I'm not saying they're all meth heads. It's just, there's a lot of alcohol.
They have that predilection, though.
Yeah. They're from trailer parks. Like, they're just a bunch of kids goofing off and having fun. And one day they're going to grow out of it. Like, and it's cool. It's the thing. I make fun of juggalos. I like making fun of the whoop-de-whoops and shit. But hey, fat chicks need to get laid too. So, they go to fucking the Juggalo Fest, and when you're high on meth and Fago, everything looks good. So, that's sorry. I know Alan's got a lot of Juggalos that watch him, so he doesn't like me saying shit like that. But.
No, dude, your opinion's your opinion. They watch. Hopefully, they got a thick skin. That's all. I love them, but that's your opinion. So you're not wrong on 90% of it's the problem. I mean,
I'm sorry. Name one good Juggalo rapper. All right, there's no such thing. They all sound like, yo, my name is Mike. I came on the mic. I'm doing this song for you to get crunk with, and I'm gonna axe you, motherfucker. And I'm like, That's not rapping, man. Like, stop it. Just stop it.
Shit. Now, we just talked about hypocrisy earlier. One thing I do want to address now, AOC. Now I will say this: motherfucker shouldn't have been fucking as loud as he fucking was. Goddamn, you don't fucking, if you think somebody's a bitch, don't fucking yell that shit out for everybody to fucking hear it. However, Maxine Waters took and called for people to take and actually harass motherfucking Republicans out in fucking public. When you see them when you see them out in public trying to eat, even if they're with their families, harassed them. Fucking Holder took and called for blood in the fucking streets. They've called people to support Trump deplorables, which, regardless of how you feel about Trump, there are fucking smart people that take and voted for Trump. It's just that they thought he was a better option than what the fuck Hillary was. But the minute somebody from the other side takes and says something or name calls them the same way they'll do.
As I said on my podcast, my problem was simply put, and I said it wasn't a feminist thing. I don't give a fuck about feminism. I am pro-woman. Doesn't mean I'm anti-woman. It just means I'm anti-feminism. And when I say I'm anti-feminism, it means I'm anti-modern feminism. I understand the feminist movement. Till the 90s, I was very much, I would say, yeah, classic feminism. Understand. Same wages, right to choose if you want to get an abortion, yada, yada, yada. I'm down. Don't get beaten by your husbands. You shouldn't be getting raped and murdered. Agreed. When it came to women should run the world and blah, 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 and men are inferior and they're violent and shit. That's where I lost fucking, I was like, okay, feminism, shut the fuck up. I'm done with you guys. So that's where I kind of got off on that shit. AOC, I like her. I've said it. I don't lie. I think she's
fucking hilarious if you read her.
Yeah, she's fucking.
She's more intelligent than what Republicans give her fucking credit for.
She's got great clapbacks. She knows how to fucking rip on people intelligently without being aggressive, without being fucking too rude. She knows her line. She doesn't cross it. She knows how to make. She's like one of those people, like your friend, like you try to piss him off, but you can't piss him off, so you get pissed off. That's AOC. AOC doesn't get mad. She just gets even. She just sits there and, okay, yeah, all right. So that's what I like about her. She's fucking smart. Anyways, but my issue with what happened with AOC wasn't because of feminism. It was because you have the right as a worker to be able to go to your place of business and not be harassed and not be insulted. Doesn't mean if you're a woman, it means you as a male, as a woman, as a dog, as anything. If you're going to work and someone's fucking with you at work, I don't care about this whole bro culture and don't be a pussy culture. Shut up. I'm going to work. Don't fucking annoy me at work. If I got a coworker at work that annoys me every day, I made a complaint once. I had a coworker at work that wouldn't shut the fuck up. He just kept talking all the goddamn fucking time in my fucking ear. Yakety, 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 yakety. And I fucking went to human resources and I said, can you fucking move me to another fucking part of the office where I don't got to be sitting next to fucking yappy pants because I can't get any fucking work done because motherfucker won't shut the fuck up. All right. You have the right to be comfortable and secure in your place of work. She came to work. She wasn't outside on the streets. She was at work. She was climbing up the steps to go to work. And she was fucking harassed by 3 of her co-workers. It doesn't matter that they're not Democrats. They are co-workers in her place of work. And they made her feel uncomfortable. And she fucking let them have it. She didn't make a complaint. She even said, I don't want them fired. She said it. I don't want them fired. Of course, yeah. She made the whole feminist rant that I'm not for, but I agree with her 100%. What they did was fucking wrong, and they should be put in place like any other fucking job. You don't fucking fuck with your other employees.
Well, now that I do agree with it, especially for it to be as public as it fucking was, where everybody that was in the fucking area could fucking hear it. Mm-hmm. Now you have shit like that happen. You need to take and same thing that happened with Rashida Tlaib whenever she took and made the fucking anti-Semitic remarks. They took and brought, look. We're gonna take and disavow what the fuck you said. We're gonna take.
I don't think they were anti-Semitic, and speaking as someone that actually has Jewish heritage, I will say this: I'm not Jewish. I'm an atheist, but my father was Jewish. My mother's Catholic, and I will say she said nothing anti-Semitic. And if you want to say something against Israel, it's not anti-Semitic because Israel is not Jew. Israel is Israel. Jews are Jews. Israel is Israel. Israel is a country. You got a problem with Israel's fucking issues? That's a problem with Israel. It's not a problem with Jewish people. I get really fucking annoyed And it's mostly, no offense, Alan, coming from the United States of America, where they fucking think that anytime you have something against Israel, that you're anti-Semitic. That would mean I fucking hate myself because I can't stand Israel.
Kind of like people calling COVID-19 the Chinese flu, the China flu wasn't fucking racist at all.
I don't think it was racist.
It wasn't, because it's a fucking nation.
Yeah, we called the Spanish flu because it came from fucking Spain. People today just like to fucking label everything as racism or anti-Semitic or shit like that. Listen, Israel does some fucked up weird shit. They're acting a lot like apartheid Africa. All right, if you remember what happened in South Africa back in the day, Israel acts almost identical to what the South Africans did. And I'm not saying it's the Israeli people, but I'm saying the Israeli government.
It's the government, because the Israelis and Palestinians work together with each other. They take Palestinians go into Israel every day and fucking work hand in hand. Israeli companies. Same thing with Israelis going into Palestine.
I'm telling you, Israel and Palestine would have peace. Fucking 20 years ago, America and Britain and Canada
would stay the fuck out.
Stay the fuck out of it. They'll figure their own shit out.
Paul, if the Green New Deal does happen, she's 40 years too early for it. Just saying, because I'm sorry, you're not going to take and cut the emissions on jets by 40 or 50 or 60%, because right now they don't even have prototypes that'll take you past fucking 30 miles for fucking the vertical takeoff jets, basically. Same thing with cars. Cars are still about 20 years out before they're completely electrified. Same thing with our electrical grid. We're about 20 years out before we take and go full fucking renewable energy. You could have been 20 to 40 years too early.
You could have been ahead of it, but
I know.
The problem is you let China take that shit. So China's pretty much going to be the king when it comes to renewable energy and blah, blah, blah. Except for in Canada, because we've always run on hydroelectric energy. But
bruh, stop. I don't care for Trump. What does he mean in a racist way? Give me some examples before you take it to go. Trump means it in a racist way, but that's that kind of generalization. What the fuck does he mean in a racist way?
I think Trump is the most openly racist. I'm not saying that there was someone, Biden said something last week. He goes like, Trump is the only racist president in the history of.
Hey, forgot about Andrew Jackson.
I was like, no, every president has been racist. Just Trump has been openly racist, whereas the rest of them have been.
Well, the funny thing that's not fucking racist, though. That's not fucking racist. Here's the thing about it: whenever the things that Trump has done or said that's been racist hasn't been the shit that the fucking media has fucking made examples of. There's been speeches where he's taken and given, they take out a fucking excerpt. Oh, he made this remark. He's so fucking racist, and they didn't take the whole goddamn speech.
They don't need to take anything out. They just need to fucking look at his practices when he used to be a real estate fucking mogul in New York, and he wouldn't let black people live in his fucking buildings. And he said he literally would say, because they're going to lower my property value. That's fucking racism.
That's
all you need.
Yeah, the fucking all the examples that the fucking media has given of his racism has been complete fucking horseshit, because they take excerpts of everything. Same way the fucking Republicans did with fucking Obama back whenever he was a fucking president. Same way they did with fucking Clinton. Same way they did with Bush. Same way they did with fucking Reagan and all the other fucking presidents. Since the media decided they're going to take and have a fucking narrative and fucking opinion instead of taking reporting the fucking news. Mm-hmm. They take a fucking excerpt. Oh, he's racist. You see, he said this, and they didn't take this part and this part to come before and fucking after it. China flu, not fucking racist. I don't give a shit if Trump said it. Not fucking racist, because China is a goddamn country.
Exactly.
It's not a fucking race. If he said the Asian flu, would that be racist? Because then he's taking and put it on a whole fucking race of people. See, big difference. Same thing with the Kung flu. Now that's just funny. I'm sorry, I don't care. Gross sense of humor.
I don't think Alan's defending Trump. So honestly, and
I'm not defending Trump. Trump's. Look at here. I hated fucking Hillary. I was like, all right, if I've got to fucking vote, Republican, I'll take and vote for whoever takes and come out on the Republican Party. Because it was fucking clear as fucking day before they fucking ran in 2016. Hillary was going to take and win the nomination. I didn't give it. And it was plainly clear, especially once they started with the super delegates against fucking Bernie. I was like, all right, let's see who comes out of the fucking Republican Party. And then Trump run, I was like, oh, this is a fucking joke. I didn't want I voted for fucking Austin McMillan, a fucking libertarian out of fucking Utah. That's who the fuck I voted for.
You want to know what? Though? I like Gary Johnson. I just wish he had just a. The only problem with Gary Johnson, and I say this in a kind way, I don't think he's like
he's not a true level,
but he reminds me of Dan Quayle. And that's my problem with Gary Johnson. It's just he's good domestically, but he doesn't know anything internationally. And that's the problem with Gary Johnson.
I don't think he's a true libertarian either, because he's got some big government ideas. It's just like,
yeah, but I like him. You can't be a full-fledged libertarian. Like I said, there's a lot of libertarian ideals I like, but libertarianism as a whole, like Ayn Rand libertarianism, is fucking mental. There's no way in hell I live under an Ayn Rand system of fucking libertarianism. I'd fucking be scared hiding under a fucking desk somewhere if that's what fucking was in the world today. If Ayn Rand's ideas actually populated and propagated in society, me and my wife would be sitting there with AK-47s fucking 37 hours a day, even though it's only 24 hours a day, sleeping with one eye open, getting ready to have our house kicked in. Some guy coming in there, I'm taking over because I got more people than you, and I'm going to fucking own your land now because I've got the money and the means. It's like,
Paul, dude, why does anybody hate Hillary? I mean, why did most moderate Democrats leave the fucking party to take and vote Trump if they voted so they didn't have to vote for Hillary? She's been in fucking politics since the fucking 60s, dude. Simple as that. She was a fucking governor's wife. She fucking championed the fucking law that she had to take the fucking crime law that she had to take an answer to from the fucking African-American community that took and disproportionately fucking affected them back in the fucking 90s whenever Bill Clinton was president. She didn't do anything of any kind of fucking relative to anything whenever she was a fucking senator. She was a senator just on the simple fact that she was a president's fucking wife. And then once she was the Secretary of State, she helped take and facilitate the fucking guns that took and got run from fucking Libya to goddamn Syria that caused motherfucking, and then took and put a homosexual fucking ambassador in a Muslim fucking majority country and expected him to fucking be safe there. I'm sorry. Maybe that's the reason why I don't give a shit for her. You got to take a look at stuff from a fucking actual point of reality on how people are. It's as simple as that, dude. That's the reason why I know she wouldn't make a great POTUS. She didn't make a great fucking Secretary of State. She didn't make a great fucking senator. She won the popular vote. We have the saying called electoral college. So people that are in fucking little fucking areas.
I'm going to be honest. Do you want to know why I don't like Hillary Clinton? Do you want to know why I don't like Hillary Clinton? Because every time I see her, my penis shrinks. That's pretty much it. That's all it is. She's just really a boner killer for me. Like, you know, I've never seen someone that makes my penis like literally shrink to the point where it comes out my asshole as much as Hillary Clinton does.
All right, Paul, new thing. You're going to take and say something to take and, you know, for anything.
Let Paul have his freedom of speech.
Wait, he wants freedom of speech. That's fine. But tell me the reasons why you think she'd have been good. Tell me the reasons why, instead of just fucking cliche.
I don't think she would have been good. I think Hillary Clinton would have been the status quo. I think Hillary Clinton would have just continued the same old, same on and continued going. And like, I was a Bernie bro. I am a Bernie bro. I'm going to be a Bernie bro till the day I die. There was an interview with Bernie on MSNBC last week. It's hilarious. Biden's up 15 points in the polls. He's going to win the election. Everyone knows, unless Trump finds a way to really just fucking literally Putin this election, because that's pretty much what we all think is going to happen. Trump is going to Putin the fuck out of this election somehow. But still, they had Bernie on this week. If you watch the interview, it was fucked up. It was literally a way that they're already finding an out to blame Bernie if Biden loses somehow. And it was like, Bernie, please stop going on CNN and MSNBC. They literally have been fucking you for, you're too much of a good dude. You're like, they use you to continue propagating this corporate fucking Democrat bullshit.
If Biden loses, it's because they keep taking and trotting him out in front of fucking cameras. Let him try to take and say more than 3 words at a fucking time.
He'll still win. He'll still win. The only way Biden loses, I'm telling you, I'm calling it right now. The only way Biden loses is if Trump fucking hijacks the fucking election, which is a very big possibility. It's the only way. He's buddies with Putin. I'm sure Putin's teaching him everything to do.
Here's the thing on that too, man. Take an objective looks at stuff. You take a look at fucking Trump with Putin, bro. Fucking first election, everybody like, oh, it was Russian collusion or whatever. You take a look.
I don't know. I don't think it was Russian collusion.
It wasn't Russian collusion the first go around.
I agree it was Hillary. I agree Hillary fucking sucked as a candidate. And I agree that the Electoral College, though, is a piece of shit. She did get more votes than him. Let's be honest. She got.
But the thing about it is, it's because she won California. She took and won New York. She took and won the Beltway in Virginia.
But the Electoral College,
they don't represent the fucking the rural person in America.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think the Electoral College should have been abandoned like thousands of years ago. Same thing.
But the popular vote would have the large liberal fucking cities making rules that affects negatively the fucking.
Well, they're the ones that create the country. Areas. All the wealth that goes into your country is coming from those big.
They wouldn't have that fucking wealth if they didn't have motherfuckers from the fucking rural areas providing the food and half the fucking work when their kids go to the fucking college.
Time, the Electoral College, and it's not only that though. Republican governors have fucking. I don't know what you guys call it again. There, where you're fucking redistricting. Republican governors over
gerrymandering and shit.
Gerrymandering or redistricting, especially in Texas. When Texas is overwhelmingly minority, all right? There's more minorities in Texas than any other fucking state in the union, yet it's always Republican run because of fucking redistricting.
Yeah. But
their votes don't count. They can vote till like 100% of all blacks, Hispanics, and other minorities can vote in Texas, and their votes just don't count because of redistricting.
Well, so see, and there needs to be
this white neo-fascist conservative that's going to run Texas.
Well, see, now I disagree with gerrymandering. You shouldn't redraw lines where it puts your party at a bigger fucking advantage than the other party. I don't agree with that. However they fucking vote in their fucking districts, that's how the fucking vote should go.
Because if Texas actually their votes counted, Texas would be blue. You do know that, right? Texas would be blue as fuck if it wasn't for all the gerrymandering. It would be Democrat every election. Every election. There would never be a chance that a Republican could win in Texas. It would be impossible. You count in the 40% minority vote plus the 10, 15% white liberal vote in Texas, which they do have, there'd be no way there'd be a Republican representative coming out of Texas, ever.
Well, see, the thing about it is, with the Comey, with the investigation and stuff like that, that's the thing from the get-go. Like as soon as they started with that, before as soon as they come out, there's an investigation and stuff like that. It was like, all right, so what are they going to find? Because I was interested to take and see, because they they had meetings with Russians and Trump Tower and this, that, and the other, and nothing's fucking come of it. They even had somebody that was part of the fucking Clinton administration as a fucking top prosecutor, fucking Mueller, fucking run the shit. So the fact that nothing come of it is like, it's kind of anticlimactic, to be honest with you.
Yeah, redistricting is also on the Democratic side. I agree. It just doesn't happen as much because there's more Republican governors. Local government Republicans, it's just a proven fact. Republicans vote more than Democrats when it comes to local politics. So they've had a mandate for the past 50 years where it's pretty much been local politicians have always been Republicans. So they're the ones that gerrymander. And that's why if Democrats ever want to actually have a chance at fucking winning, they got to start taking the fucking local races more seriously, which they never do. So whatever.
Which, I mean, historically, there's been more Democrat presidents than there have been fucking Republican presidents.
No, not true.
Yeah, there has been.
Oh, well, yeah, maybe back in history, but I'm talking about present day. In the last,
there's still
last 100 years. No, it's been more.
You still look, you got Jimmy Carter, and before Jimmy Carter, you had a fucking, what? Yes, since about 60s, it's been off and on Republican and Democrat.
It's mostly been Republican. There's been three. There's been Jimmy Carter, there's been Bill Clinton, and there was Obama. Other than that, it's all been Republican.
But that's only been Reagan, Bush, and Trump.
And before Carter.
Before Carter, you had Nixon.
Yeah.
Well, actually, before Carter, yeah, you had Nixon. Before Nixon, you had Lyndon B. Johnson.
And after Nixon, you had another Republican that took over because Nixon was kicked out. Wasn't it?
Yeah, that was just a continuation of fucking Nixon, though.
Yeah. So there's more Republicans than Democrats in modern history. A lot more. It's probably like 7-3.
I don't think it's been quite that many.
I really
don't.
I'm going to check it out, but I think it's like 7.
I was going to say, because you got Jimmy Carter. Before Jimmy Carter, you had Gerald Ford and Nixon. Before him, it was Johnson. Before Johnson, he took and won not only his election, but also before that, after he became president, due to the assassination of JFK. Before JFK, it was what? It was Eisenhower. Eisenhower was Republican. Before Eisenhower, you had Democrats up to Roosevelt.
Yeah, but those Democrats were Dixiecrats. So they were technically Republicans because back then the Republicans were kind of the Democrats and the Democrats were kind of the Republicans.
That's still the way that shit is. They're still fucking Republicans and they're still Democrats. There's been no flip. You had two, and this is the whole reason why people go,
I'm saying that back then, all the Republican issues that the Republicans care for today were on the Democratic side. And all the issues that were like pro getting black people to vote and everything like that was on the Republican side back in those days.
They still want black people to vote. It's just now they're trying to make sure people have IDs and shit like that. But the parties didn't switch at all. You taking a look at the fucking policies that Democrats passed down and shit like that. The fucking Civil Rights Act 1964, for all the good it's done, did just as much harm as it did good, because it took the middle class African American family and wiped them out basically. I don't want to get into that subject because I don't know enough about it. Again, I'm Canadian, so I can't really defend or I can't really debate on that one. But if you want to talk about it, you can talk about it. I'll have to read up on it after. So I'll just have to take your word for it and read up on it after. No, they're not far worse. They're the same goddamn fucking party. It's just Obama's fucking Obamacare come from fucking Romney. Motherfucking dude, the fucking Democrats pass stuff all the fucking time, and the Republicans steal that shit from them whenever they're fucking in office, and they've got the power to take and push it whenever one side has more power than the other. That's how it fucking works. Neither side is worse than the other. They're both equally as fucking bad, whether you want to agree with that or not. It's as simple as that. I mean, both of them are fucking brain dead to their fucking constituents. They don't fucking listen to the American people. They don't care about the small fucking person, no matter how much they fucking say that.
I can't debate on past American history before 1970 because, again, Canadian, I don't care. I'm just being honest, it's not my country. I look at what affects me more, and I try to know as much as I possibly can about history. But again, I went to Canadian schools. We learned Canadian history. We learned a little modicum of American history, and I learned bits and pieces here and there. But from what I know, from what I've heard, it was Dixiecrats back prior to 1960.
Bourbon, I love you to fucking death. It's not called trying to be a fucking specialist. It's called taking and looking at fucking history and looking at how the policies of each fucking party line up. It's as simple as that. And each of them taking fucking past stuff that is equal shit for fucking minorities. There's been no fucking flip. None. You had two prominent Republicans taking flip over. People say it flipped because of the way Nixon took and pandered to the fucking South, because up to the fucking point of Nixon, there'd never been a fucking Republican win the fucking South like he fucking did. And even now, Mississippi is still fucking blue. Like you said, if not for gerrymandering, fucking Texas would still be fucking blue. But they both taken past policy to take and disproportionately affect people that aren't fucking white. I don't give a shit what fucking party it is. You take a look at both of them. It's as simple as you got to take a look at fucking policy and take and compare how they fucking where they fucking merge at and how they fucking go. Oh yeah, we're doing this. We're wanting to do this. We're going to do this. And where they fucking take and do their compromises at, it still fucks over the people they're supposedly for. They haven't fucking flipped. It's just now they more closely align with each other is all it is.
Again, I'm just gonna have to look this shit up. I can't comment. I don't like being a Homer Simpson. I don't like commenting on things that I don't know about because it just ends up making me look stupid. So I'd rather know about the issue before commenting on it. I'm reading the chat, and we got Rod J. Beer Ventures in the building. How you doing, Roddy?
But Rod, the whole reason why Lyndon B. Johnson passed the Civil Rights Act is because they were losing up till 1960. Up till that point, they were losing the black vote. It's the only reason why he wanted that passed. To this day, they still pass policy that disproportionately affects minorities the same way the Republicans do. There's been no flip. It's just they more closely aligned now. It's just they're better at sweet talking is all it is to the public.
My name's Paul, and fuck y'all. I don't know any of this shit, so I'm just gonna listen in and let Alan fight with the commenters.
All right. Well, let's look at today. If the Democrats were as for the minorities as they say they are, you wouldn't have places like Minneapolis that are fucking segregated.
I don't think the Democratic Party gives. And I've said this. I think there's only one politician that actually gives a fuck about people. And when I say that, I mean people in general. And that man didn't beat Joe Biden, even though he should have.
Oh, I completely agree with that. Bernie Sanders wants to take and make sure the smaller person has more fucking money in their pocket.
But he doesn't care. But this is the thing. This is why he lost, though, because he doesn't pander. He didn't say for black people or for yellow people or for red people or for this people. He said people. That's why he doesn't follow the lines of what today's generation wants. And what today's generation wants is full-on pandering. They have to pander. They have to apologize and be apologetic. And Bernie's not apologetic because he's got nothing to apologize for. He's never done anything to anybody. All he's ever tried to do is improve everyone's fucking life. And he didn't walk across a bridge. And there's a reason why he didn't walk across a bridge. And I know John Lewis died this week, and a lot of people are sad about it. And I understand he did some good things in life. But John Lewis was the architect in 2016 of destroying the Bernie Sanders campaign for Hillary Clinton. So why would Bernie Sanders want to walk with John Lewis this year on that bridge? All right. If you knew someone that literally worked with a bunch of other people to make sure that you didn't get elected in 2016 when you should have been, and he would have beaten Hillary if it wasn't for all the fucking foul play that happened back in 2016, why would you want to fucking march with the dude? And that's why he fucking lost to fucking Biden, because he wouldn't walk across a bridge with John Lewis. And for all of us who are fans of Bernie, we understood why he wouldn't walk with John Lewis, because John Lewis fucked him.
And Rod, and see, that's the thing. Anybody, like even Bourbon, I hope you're still here, buddy. I love you to death. Look, my views are my fucking own. It's just once I went digging into history, digging into policies and stuff like that, and taking just a fucking look at how things are still fucking done. Even Democrat Party, Republican Party, both things are basically done the fucking same way. CB says it the best. They all hate the fucking poor.
Bernie did not lose because of Trump. Bernie lost because the Democratic Party made sure that Bernie fucking lost. All right, straightforward.
He's exactly right on that. Exactly right. Because you take and look, Bernie took and beat Hillary in more than a few fucking states, and the states that he beat her in, the superdelegates, all went to Hillary. That's the reason why he lost.
Bernie Sanders lost this time go around because they made a fucking deal before, while Bernie was beating the shit out of Biden in every single state. And then all of them got together and said, listen, we're going to drop out. Elizabeth is going to stay in, divide the fucking vote for Bernie. The rest of us are going to fucking drop out and push our shit behind fucking Biden. And then the shit happened with the fucking bridge where Bernie didn't join fucking, again, Lewis on the fucking bridge. And then they were saying, oh, Bernie doesn't care about black people. And he never mentions fucking reparations and shit like that. Because Bernie, he wasn't anti-reparations, but Bernie was already out on a limb putting out social ideas to fucking help the common worker, which were already fucking avant-garde when it comes to American fucking politics. Do you really think Bernie would have stood a chance if he would have said, listen, I'm for fucking reparations?
Paul, if it weren't for
would have
COVID,
fucking died in 3 seconds. His campaign.
Paul, if it weren't for COVID, Biden wouldn't stand a fucking chance. Bernie stands a better chance. He could take and debate Trump a lot better. He's a lot more snappy to what the fuck Biden is. The thing about it is with Biden, Biden's not a safe bet. COVID and the handling of COVID is what has took and given Biden basically the lead in the polls that he has. That's it. I'm gonna tell you right now, Biden, listening to him and listening to some of his sound bites, sounds way more racist than what the fuck Trump is, because his shit is just holy shit.
I don't think Biden. Honestly, I don't think Biden. I don't think Biden is racist. I think
Biden, his sound bites make him sound.
Biden is just boomer. That's what I call Biden. Biden's your typical boomer. It's like when I talk to my father-in-law, who I know he's not a racist, but he says fucking racist shit that offends me. And I'm Generation X. I'm not even millennial. Like, he'll say shit that I'll be like, dude, you can't say shit like that anymore. But at the same time, I say shit where millennials will be like, you can't say shit like that anymore. But the difference is I don't say shit about race. I say more shit about like LGBT community or feminism and shit like that. And they get all on my ass for that shit. So it's kind of like a generational gap of gaffiness and stupidness. And that's one of the things where I've always been anti-cancel culture, because when it comes to something you said 30 years ago, it's something you said 30 years ago. You're not the same person you were 30 fucking years ago. And I always get really annoyed when people judge people from what they've done fucking 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right. When I was 10 years ago, I was even more retarded than I am now. 10 years before that, I was more retarded than I was 10 years before that.
10 years
before that, you grow and you grow and you evolve. And there's another thing I hate about fucking people is that no one knows how to take a fucking apology. And that's why my number one rule in life is never fucking apologize. Because if you apologize, you admit it, and they don't accept your apology.
Yep.
No one accepts apologies anymore. Apologies are just fucking proof that you were wrong, and then they get to fire your ass and ruin your fucking life. So, you know what? In a way, I said it on my podcast, I said, I kind of understand why the guy didn't apologize to fucking AOC, even though he was completely wrong and in the wrong. Because it wouldn't have been done with. If he would have apologized, it wouldn't have been done with. They want his head. It's going to not be over till his head is on a fucking platter, because it must be a show of you cannot act like this in society, and we will subdue you, and you will think exactly like us, because if you don't think like us, you can't be a part of society. And to me, that is fucking wrong and disgusting. And that is the religious right movement to a T. Except it's liberals that are running it. And that's one of the reasons why I refuse to call myself a liberal today, because I fucking hate that culture. And that culture to me is pure and simply Christian, Judeo-Catholic culture, but just perverted into a different fucking version of it, which is the liberal agenda. But it's the exact same thing as the goddamn religious right-wing motherfuckers that were doing it 10 years ago. Same bullshit. Don't fucking believe in us, then you're fucking an enemy, and that's the way it is. And to me, I understand why people don't want to apologize. That's all I'm saying. Like, I will never apologize for anything I fucking say, because it's just going to be used against me in order to fucking kill me. So. The rant is ended.
I was gonna say, cancel. The joys of living in the 20th century. Now, as far as people talking about participation trophies, just remember, the kids that are wanting to participate, grew up wanting the participation trophy, probably come from your generation. I'm just saying, or your kids' generation, because your kids took and made sure their kids took and got trophies just for taking and being on a team somewhere, or they took and did an art contest. That's just so. It's a generational thing. Everything. In one aspect, things get better for a generation. On the other hand, you got other stuff like fucking participation trophies and everybody getting fucking butt hurt because you don't, but I think part of the cancel culture comes from the academic world too, because they got these fucking professors. This isn't right. You shouldn't.
Listen, we've all had them. When I went to university, I had professors that taught me things that made me learn about the world. And when you're in university, it's normal. Your mind is an empty slate. It gets filled in by education. You get educated and you learn things. When you're in university, you don't have your own mind and your own ideals yet. You're not developed enough to have those. So you're just pretty much spitting out whatever you were taught. even though it's right, you still haven't formed your own actual opinion yet. So your opinion is actually your professor's opinion or your teacher's opinion or the book you've read's opinion. Later on, you learn nuance in life. That's what happens as you get older. You start to learn nuance. You get to learn that not everything is black and not everything is white. There's nuance.
More shades of gray than anything.
There's shades of gray in everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I've always said I can get along with fucking conservative people as well as fucking liberal people, because both sides have actual valid fucking points. And if I disagree with their points, it's not wholeheartedly. It's usually subjugated on certain parts of their points. Like what Alan just said there, I don't fully agree with what he just said, because cancel culture, I understand to a point and a degree. It's up to the people to decide what they wish to follow and what they like. But what I don't like is people that search for things to be offended by. Meaning, let's say you don't like something. My thought has always been, if you don't like something, don't watch it. That's always been my point. If you like something, watch it. But what you have today is you have a bunch of motherfuckers that go into places where they know wholeheartedly they're going to be offended. They actually want to be offended. It's what they need to feel special.
It's like they get off on
it. They get off. It's the only way they get to jerk off and really get that really good load that comes out, is that they need to feel offended. They need to feel some visceral, disgusted reaction. And then they need to film it, because the coming isn't the actual full thing. This doesn't fulfill them sexually. They need to destroy somebody in order to fulfill their sexual, disgusting, deviant behavior. So what they do is they film someone they don't like doing something that they don't like them doing, and then they push it out there on society and saying, in their virtual signaling fucking tower, saying, look what this motherfucker did. This motherfucker was on stage prepping a fucking act, seeing his jokes, because this is what comedians do, by the way. People don't seem to understand that.
You don't decide the micro topic, we do. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, kid. Anyways, before I was rudely interrupted, I was going on a fucking rant and a good roll here. All right. Comedians go into small comedy clubs to practice and hone their craft. Meaning the jokes that they're saying in those small clubs aren't actually the jokes they're going to use when they're doing their HBO specials or their fucking showcase or Netflix special. They're practicing it on an audience who've agreed to come and watch because they like this person and they enjoy their humor. Some of the jokes are going to fail. Some of the jokes are going to pass. They're going to judge by the reaction of the crowd, the small crowd that they have there. Yet there's one motherfucker in the crowd who's either a journalist or some fucking SJW cunt that's in there for one reason and one reason only, and that's to find something in fault with what that person is saying, which they can use later on to destroy that person. And to me, that's the cancel culture that I can't stand. But I do understand, let's say Tucker Carlson goes on a rant on Fox News, says a bunch of racist shit, and fucking...
Yeah, people...
That's cool. Yeah. That's different. That is using your fucking wallet to decide what you want to fucking watch. Because you were watching him because you kind of liked his show, and then he went off on some weird fucked up rant where it was like racial and blah, 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 whatever. And that, I understand, that's mass cancellation of culture. That's not sneaky fucking, let's find something under the surface where someone makes a mistake in their life and destroy them for it. Culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Steven's offended by you interrupting me. I agree, Steven. Cancel Alan.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
I don't think I got a big enough subscription base to be canceled yet. Normally it's once you get to like 10 million, you say something that people are like, oh my God, you hurt my feelings. That's when they take and come after you. Oh, did you take and know he thought this fucking 10 years ago before they even had a fucking YouTube channel? Let's cancel them. And it's like, motherfucker, like you said, motherfuckers, 30 fucking years ago, I owned a fucking car. I had a fucking bumper sticker that said Rebel with a Confederate flag in it. I wouldn't own anything like that now to save my fucking life. Why? Because I evolved. I agree with you. I think for me, the thing that gets me is them going back 5, 10, 15, 20 fucking years and not taking into a fact that fucking.
It's like I said, it's like porn. You have to admit, it's like porn. It's a sexual deviancy of these people. That's what I think. It's like the only way these dudes, like some people need feet to fucking, get off. Like you need to stare at a pair of really weird toes and shit. The cancel people have the same kind of sexual deviancy and proclivity as fucking toe people. All right. It's the same weird fucking kink. Except for them, it's just looking for whatever fucking reason they possibly can to destroy and wreck somebody. It's, I've got to take this motherfucker down. He said something once that just offended me, and I can't just not watch him. I have to make sure nobody watches him. I have to. There's like literally, like there was fucking, what can I use as an example? Does anyone watch The Challenge on MTV? Do you watch The Challenge? I know it's kind of like a kid show.
I stopped watching MTV once they stopped playing music. I mean, music TV is kind of in the fucking name of it. So I'm like, man.
There was this. Okay, this is like the BLM movement's really big right now, and I understand. Again, I've made it on my shows where I said I'm pro what they're doing. I'm not pro the looting, but I'm pro what they're doing. All right. But there was one of the participants on it, an Asian girl, D. Nguyen or some shit like that. And she put on this thing where she was putting like, for the Black Lives Matter thing, they put like a black page or some shit like that says like I support BLM, which is just like a black thing. And someone made a comment saying, oh, that's not enough to support the movement. You're not doing enough to support the movement. So she said, I've been supporting the movement since I lost my virginity. So what she was pretty much stating is that she lost her virginity to a black guy. All right. Which to me is not racist. I think that's actually the complete opposite of racist. It means she sleeps with black dudes, whatever. So she likes black dudes. She's sexually attracted to black dudes. But then they kind of turned it and twisted it and mutated it into a weird thing where they were saying sexualizing blackness is racism. And she got fired from her job and like kicked off the air. And she's been like put out there like she's some member of the KKK for that comment. And I was like,
he's talking about cancel culture and not BLM if you know how to take and follow along.
Yeah.
He just said he's not for the looting. He's for the protests and stuff like that, meaning BLM. He's giving the example of the woman. I mean,
who cares? Let Paul talk. It's okay. Why do you get mad at commenters?
I'm not as.
I never get offended by commenters. I never do.
I'm not offended neither. It's just some of the stuff he said. And look, Paul. By the way, Paul, I'm not against you at all.
Trust me, Paul. I hate you. I'm gonna find you, motherfucker. Oh, I'm still finding you.
Give me 10 seconds. I'm sure I'll say something you're going to agree with. And 10 seconds later, I'm going to say something you'll disagree with. 10 seconds later, I'm going to say. And the thing about it, and the other thing about it is, Paul, I've took and looked at both sides enough. Like I've learned both sides enough. That's one of the reasons why I've got an open mind and I think independently. But I can also debate you on whatever fucking point you want to debate on because. So if you bring up something, I'm liable to take and be like, no, that you didn't get what he was just saying, just for the simple fact of just the way you word it. That's just me. Not meaning anything by it. It's just that's how it works, kind of.
Well, I've been doing YouTube for fucking 6 years. I have literally stopped being offended by fucking commenters. I think they're fucking fun. I love the trolls. I literally invite trolls on my channel often. It's just fun for me.
So, Mary took offense to the word retarded.
Oh, well, I'm sorry for being retarded.
Mary, I love you to death. I know what you're saying. Trust me. We're not meaning anything by it dismissively at all. It's just we're having a conversation between two friends.
Last year was the last year. Last year was the final year where I learned not to use. I don't want to get your channel in trouble, so I'm not going to use it. But the lovingly term used for gay people, I literally stopped using that last year. So my Generation X is slowly learning what not to say in today's society. I still use it in private, though. I still think it's a funny word. And I don't use it to be derogatory towards gays, but I just like using it because it's a fun word to use. I don't know. I always have problems with language. Again, I don't like being told by society what I can and cannot say. So a rebellious part of me just wants to say that shit because it's fucking funny to me. I don't.
I've tried as much as possible not to say the word that she said, only because, and one of the reasons because my brother, he's got I take a dude. Let's see, Tuesday night we've got a fucking.
My nephew's retarded. I like him. He's a great guy, but
we've got a session. I'm dungeon master of a fucking campaign for Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And he told me, dude, don't use that word, because I take and use it just out of fucking hand as something that I find completely fucking ignorant, and that's a fucking manner in which Swami's fucking using. It's not being. We're not using the word of taking. Be dismissed.
But I won't lie. The fact that it offends someone makes me smile, and that's the kind of sick, twisted person I am. The fact that I know that I made someone uncomfortable brings me joy is a weird, and that's my sexual proclivity. Making sure that people feel uncomfortable around me. My wife has always said it. That makes me really fucking weird, almost sociopathic. The fact that I know how to make people really uncomfortable, and that the more uncomfortable you get, the happier I get, which is a weird thing. And then later on tonight, I'm going to spank off to the fact that I made Mary uncomfortable. now I made Alan uncomfortable. So.
No, right. The thing about it is, I understand where she's coming from. It doesn't bother me just because I don't. People have a right to get offended over stuff, but people also have the right to take and say stuff that can offend you.
Yep.
I'm not going to take and excoriate him. I'm not going to take and burn him at the stake because he says something that one of the people that's in the audience finds offensive. And I love Mary to death because Mary is in our fucking chat all the fucking time. Mm-hmm. She's an ardent supporter, and I love you to death. He wasn't trying to be offensive, but I'm not going to take and I'm not gonna take and excoriate him or make him apologize or anything like that. Where I know it wouldn't be sincere, more than likely, because I know how Swami is. He didn't mean anything by it, so I'm not.
I love the term ignorance. Ignorance means that I'm ignorant of the fact of using that term would offend people. No, I'm not ignorant. I'm fully in knowledge of the fact that term seems to offend people. I just don't understand why it offends people. Because I actually do know why it offends people, but at the same time, just changing the verb to a different verb to me is still technically the same word. It's just that back then it was acceptable and now it's no longer acceptable, so you can't say it. To me, doesn't make me ignorant. It just makes the fact that I just don't care. That's more along the lines of that. I wouldn't say it's ignorance. I would just say it's more, I just don't care. That's what it would be.
Well, see, my thing is we went from like Stephen Tuna said, it's called mental retardation back in the day, and then it went from mental retardation that didn't take and cast a good light to retarded, from that to mental handicap to and then the special needs and on down the line to. It's a medical term. Nothing's meant by it. He said it flippantly because he's talking about the ignorance of youth. I mean, it's just simple as that. So that's what you're referring to. But
yeah, I didn't call a handicap. He's right on that term. I didn't call a handicapped person retarded. I called a group of people retarded. So that would be how I used the term. And I think that's what Alan's trying to say. Is I didn't look at Stephen Hawking and say, "Oh, look, he's in a wheelchair. He's somehow, lesser than." I didn't say that. I called a group of able-bodied people and mentally able retarded. So that's, I think, what you're trying to say, Alan.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, and also, like I said, everything is just being sanitized down to the point of it still means the same fucking thing. It's just now it just sounds better off the tongue is all.
Yeah, this is the culture we're living in. And I'm sure there are things that Mary doesn't find offensive at all, that other people that Mary states that other people find extremely offensive, but Mary's not going to know that unless she actually accidentally does that in front of somebody. And then she's going to know, and she's going to say, "How dare you think that what I said was offensive? That's not how I meant it." And then Mary's going to have to profusely apologize, just like you did, Alan. And you notice I did not apologize to Mary. You did, which is fine. You're a nice person. You wish to. I'm not going to apologize to her. Because I don't think I did anything wrong. Again, proving once again I am not a snowflake and I don't get offended by anything. Speaking of Stephen Hawking, why was everyone sad when he died? Like they wanted him to keep suffering just so they can feel better about something. There was a joke I heard this week that was really, really, really offensive, but really funny as fuck.
Well, see, that's the reason. That's the reason why he took and we made the distinction of he was talking about a group of people that aren't mentally retarded at all. They're just
don't even talk about it anymore. Don't talk about it anymore. Don't worry about it. Why stop bringing it up? She's over it. She even wrote.
Well, no, BDO, and I understand the reason why BDO says that. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah. That's what you got to do, Alan. You're new, and I understand it. You've only been doing this for a year and a half. Eventually, you're just not going to care. That's how, like, you're just going to be like, everybody gets offended by something. Everyone's sad about something. Every side, every story, every single small portion of society has something that they don't want the rest of us to ever say. And I live in a segment of society which is truly free in my vocabulary, and I don't care. There's certain words I don't use. There are. But those are fucking hurtful words that I just find are different in a way that are just literally meant to be hurtful, and there's no other reason to use it. So those words I don't use anymore in my vocabulary because I've realized with life and growing up that they don't really serve any other purpose than they are for hurting someone. Whereas descriptive words to be used to describe a certain group of society shouldn't offend anybody if I'm not using it towards that other segment like we discussed. And that's it.
Well, anyways, God damn it.
Huh?
All right, yeah, I'm going to qualify. Look, I love everybody to death that's in here. If we say something that offends you, because if you know our personalities, just saying.
Alan, Mary saying she likes watching you squirm.
I bet she does.
That's what they want to do, man. And you gotta just be like, meh. Let it roll off your sleeves. If you know you didn't do anything wrong, you should never feel bad about something.
Well, I didn't feel bad because I didn't say it.
I know.
It's just
you're a good man.
I felt like I had to take and make sure that I made a distinction.
Don't defend me. Don't defend me.
My thing is, and here's the thing, and here's the reason why I say from now on, because you're your own person.
Yeah.
The thing is, I mean, you know my personality. I don't go out of my way to fucking be offensive.
Yeah.
I try to be funny all the goddamn time. I don't try to go out of my way to be offensive.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Swami doesn't go out of his way to be offensive. The thing is, he doesn't really go out of his way to be offensive unless he don't fucking like you. So, but if you get offended, then that kind of gets his rocks off.
I ripped on you all night on Saturday night. You loved it when I was making fun of you drinking the seltzer.
You were getting on my beard and shit like that.
Mary said she was talking to me. She wasn't talking to you, Alan. She loves you, and you don't have to defend me, Alan. I'm an adult. And I'm not offended by what Mary said. I just don't feel apologetic about what Mary
All right, then, well, fuck it. You're on your own from now on.
Exactly. It's the way I like it. Does this turn you on when I talk to the microphone like this? Does it make
You're going to send shivers down my spine if you keep doing that. Stop it. Oh, shit.
I have fun. I love it. Like I said, that's the reason why the podcast is up. For all of you people who enjoyed kind of what me and Alan did tonight, it's kind of the same thing what me and David do on the Uncomfortable Moment of Silence podcast, which will be airing every 2 weeks on Amazon Prime and on iTunes starting September.
Wait, Amazon Prime?
Yeah, it's going to be on Amazon and Amazon Prime.
Oh, shit. Look at this. Sucky now.
Yeah, but for now, it's going to be on YouTube for the first 5 episodes because we have to record 5 full episodes because those stream sites need 5 full episodes recorded so that they can stream them. So, Again, Tuesday is going to be a lot of fucking fun. I can't wait for Tuesday's show. Tuesday's show is going to be a fucking killer show. We're going to have fucking Rhino 39 on, which are a super fucking amazing hardcore fucking punk group from California. And then 2 weeks from that, we're going to be having a fucking wrestler, as I was explaining to Alan. So that's going to be a lot of good time. We're going to have an actual ex-WCW WWE heel, which will be on the show. And that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm trying to get strippers on the show. I am, but I'm trying to see what I can do with strippers on the show. Because if I don't think I could do anything fun with having strippers on the show, then there's no point in having strippers on the show. Because I already have some strippers that are lined up that want to do the show. Believe me, it was really easy to find strippers that will come on your podcast. And when I say come on your podcast, I mean that literally and figuratively. But I want to know if I can actually have them on my podcast to do fun things with. But if I can't have fun with them, then there's no point in me having them on.
Well, I have a question. Why strippers? Why not just take and go down block, get the fucking $3 whore and take and have them on the podcast?
Because I'm married to a wife, and see, hookers you can do something with, where strippers are like plastic fruit. It's like, if you understand what plastic fruit means.
Well, the only difference between the hooker and the stripper is the sex.
You can't really eat plastic fruit. So you can look at it. My wife don't have a problem with strippers. I can go to strip clubs anytime I want to. I can't go see a whore.
The only difference is the sex. That's the only difference. Well,
it's more along the lines I want to know about the culture of strippers, because I've been a big fan and big supporter of strippers my entire life, and I figure it's time for me to learn something about strippers and why they're in there and what they're doing, and the whole nine. I want to hear their stories, and I think it's interesting stories.
Now you can now we can answer the age-old question that Blake's been asking for fucking the past year. Why is it strippers will take and show you their butthole but won't tell you their real name?
Well, because they don't want Blake. Because have you seen Blake? That's why. They tell you. Fair point. Alan, when you're there, I'm sure they'll tell you their real name, and if I'm there, they'll tell me they probably won't tell me their real name either. But
I'm sure it's probably to make sure they don't have.
It's almost like the argument: if a really good-looking person sexually harasses you at work, is it sexual harassment?
Well, if it's unwanted, yes, but nobody will ever. Yeah, that's what I mean. But it's only after. But it's only after you. It's only after people get caught by their wives, or on camera, and it's used as blackmail that they don't.
If I'm at the office, and there's Shirley, an accountant that's there, and Brad Pitt is working next to me, and me and Brad Pitt have been working there forever, and Brad Pitt comes to Shirley and goes, "Shirley, you have exquisite breasts." Shirley will laugh. If I walk up to Shirley and say, "Shirley, you have exquisite breasts," I have a
handprint.
I'm going to jail.
Fair point.
Yeah. So when Blake goes to strip clubs, there's a reason why Blake doesn't get their real names. Just say. Sorry, Blake. I apologized.
Oh Lord. I think we might have took and scared off Paul, but
Paul's there.
Yeah. Maybe so. We've only got like 4 people that are commenting, or 5 people that are commenting. So if Paul's working, that's cool.
I don't even.
This is one of those things. Like each of us will probably take. We're going to take and say shit that people are going to fucking agree with, and people will be like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" Because I've already had bounty. I'm done, and I'm just giving my opinion on shit just from the research I've done. If you disagree, that's cool. You ain't got to hate me over it, or you ain't got to take and unfollow.
But you always got to keep
whatever.
This is the one thing though. I'll say I'll never say I'm done with my opinion, because I'm always going to say my opinion is fully ready to evolve.
Exactly.
Right? If you can have a good argument onto why what I say is wrong, I will always bend the knee. I will always I'm not going to be an asshole, because that's just an asshole. That's just a fucking asshole if they're not willing to change their mind. But you got to really debate me and make me understand why your opinion. It's not just you have to think this way because society tells you have to think this way because everyone thinks this way now, and you are archaic in your thinking, and that's just going to make me be like, go fuck yourself, man.
And see, that's how I've taken my mindset's changed in the last 20 years. even the last 10 years has changed radically from where I was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was full bore fucking Republican. Now, fuck the Republicans. I hate fucking Trump. Of course, I hate the fucking Democrats just as fucking equal, because part of it was taking in here and the whole, oh yeah, the party flipped and all that shit, and then going to do the fucking research, and then going and starting to look at policy and taking a look at how things went through fucking history, and as far as America is concerned, looking at the racism from both fucking parties, and it's like, no, fuck it. That's the reason. That's the reason why last election I voted fucking libertarian. It's the reason why the election before that I voted fucking libertarian, because I have no faith in the other two fucking parties. We're fucking in a stranglehold by motherfuckers who are writing the laws that the fucking corporations and big pharma and places like that are telling them to the fucking right.
The last election I wrote in Baba Booey.
Oh Lord.
Some people's opinions are more important than yours. I think he forgot to write more important than yours, but yeah, I understand, Eric. Some people's opinions are more important than mine in the grand scheme of things. We need a third party bad. You have a third party, the Green Party.
No, he's talking about an actual fucking third party, not one that's on the ballot that has no. They've got no chance of winning. Same with the Libertarians.
But they still are a third party, and the only reason why they have no chance in winning is because everyone's been taught that it's a two-party system.
Well, not enough people take and know that if they take and get 7% of the vote, they'll take.
I think what happened was because the reason why people got so scared off of the third party was Ralph Nader way back in the day when he actually got George Bush elected and George Bush Jr. And people have been fearful of the Green Party ever since because they think that if they vote for Green Party, then the other party wins. So, again.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one.
Yeah. So it was like kind of the Ralph Nader effect. Anything else you want to talk about, Alan? Because if not,
I was about to say, you want to shut this shit down? Because
I got to take a piss, wicked bad piss.
Yeah, I've got to start making YouTube videos so they can actually have a semblance of a fucking channels this week. So
I thought this was fun as fuck. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I enjoy this every time we have a fucking live stream, just because we never know what territory we're going to take and get into or anything like that.
I always think it's funny because it's like at the beginning of the show, you're always happy you're having me on. And the midpoint, you're still kind of happy, but near the end, you're like, oh, fuck, I forgot that why I keep on inviting Swami on, even though every time I invite him on, shit goes downhill. Well, see, Paul, that's what I was referring back to earlier when I was saying that if it wasn't for the whole COVID thing and basically the response to it, Biden would have no chance of winning. Because it's been a big fucking screw up with the way they've taken and done it, the way he's presented everything. No doubt. I mean, it's just like, fuck. All right. Well, I loved all the comments. I read through them. Seriously, thank you. I'm going to use the tears of some of you as lubricant later. Alan, you're more than welcome to come on my podcast eventually. Once it's like really up and running, I'm going to definitely have you on, and I will definitely have you on one night as a co-host. I think it'll be fun.
I look forward to it. If you know. Like I said, I think you're going to have more than 15 podcasts. I think it's really going to do that.
I'm open. Like I said, if worst case comes to worst, I'll just go back to reviewing whiskey, which makes all the plebes happy.
What's that make Hillary? Just asking for a friend.
I'm staying out of the Hillary conversation.
Anyways, y'all have a lovely. And Paul, it's been fun taking and bantering back and forth.
Benghazi! Isn't that what like Republicans always say? Like, what do I like? Benghazi. Benghazi. All right, let's go.
That was the biggest tie back was Benghazi, but they overlooked the gun running and shit like that. But anyways, yeah. Y'all, we try to take and do this on Sundays unless he's got something else going on or I've got something else going on. But we both enjoyed this, like, because as much as we agree on a lot of stuff, what you've seen tonight, we also disagree on some stuff. And there's stuff that, because he's in Canada that, he bowed out of that I probably put my foot in with some of y'all. But hey, love you out of death, but that's just my opinion on.
Don't lie, Rod. Rod was listening the whole time. He was like, I love this fucking train going off the tracks. I'm going off the wheels on a crazy train.
I think with both of us on the same fucking live stream, just the two of us, I think he probably expects both of us to take it off the rails at some point.
Oh, at least 3 or 4 times.
Because I think I'm known on Blake's stream and probably on Jeremy's streams at this point for the rants that I go on. So
Jeremy's never invited me on, and Jeremy likes me, which kind of like lets you know, like Jeremy's like, I'm not going to bring Swami on.
Well, I mean, I've got to take and consider it every time you take and ask about it. And I still no, I'm just
okay. I'm used to it. I want to thank you for having me on.
No, dude, I fucking love it, dude. Like,
I love it. You're a risk taker, brother. You're a renegade.
Well, the thing about here's a funny thing. People I grew up with and people I'm friends with, like, some of them already figured out that my mindset's changed on a lot of shit. There's other ones that would take and watch, and they'd be like, "What the fuck? He actually thinks this?"
I gotta tell you though, I'm very proud of you for washing out that My Little Pony blue out of your beard.
It's just covering the gray. I mean, you're just mad because you couldn't find Smurfette to fucking eat out. So that's the only problem.
Well, it did look. I told you, it did look like Smurf jizz, like just dribbling down your chin.
No, it's from licking a Smurf pussy. You take and drag the beard all the way up. That's how that works.
Smurfalingus.
Exactly.
All right, let's cut this shit off.
Cheers, everybody. For Swami, this is the Eclectic Beard.
Venezuela, Benghazi.